I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, and just to make everyone aware, we are recording this meeting. Approval of minutes.
Second.
Were there any corrections? Or discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Approval of claims. Oops, sorry, that's me.
Almost, approve the claim.
Hang on, this is Dusty. He's probably trying to call into the meeting. Call him back. Oh, hang on just a second. See if I can, how do you get it on your phone? Should be from your watch. There should be a little audio button. Oh, that worked, okay. Hi Dusty, sorry.
All good, sorry, I couldn't make it.
Oh, that's okay. You wanting to call in?
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's picking up.
welcome to the meeting. We just got started. Yeah, sorry, I answered on my watch first and I couldn't get it switched over. Okay. You're on speaker, meeting's being recorded. And we have a motion for the claim, sorry, I didn't catch that, was it? And a second, okay, thank you. Is there any questions or discussion?
I just had one question for Callie, the transfer to other districts.
That is, we transferred from, we had money left over, and so we were able to transfer money into the interlocal. Yep. Not as much as I hoped, but better than nothing.
What is the credit recovery?
Credit recovery is for a student who would have failed a class during the school year.
Okay,
And so instead of having that student take the same class in the coming school year, they have to recover the credit they lost, basically.
oh,
So they're taking a class online to recover the credit, so they continues to have them on a path to graduating on a regular track.
And we cover the cost for that?
Because it's part of the Ingenuity kind of system. There's some discussions about certain, like we had a student who, that's probably the administrative fee. Callie, is it $150? Did I say that right?
Yep.
I think that's her administrative fee. Because the credits, I think, that she's taking, that particular student's taking this summer is more than that.
Correct.
Because the student failed the classes during the year, we chose not to pay for them in the summer. But because there's a person that oversees the program, I believe that fee is it's there, we're paying for that oversight.
Okay.
So do the parents pay for the actual class?
In this case, they do, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions or discussion?
I guess I'm getting on.
We haven't come to the recording.
Uh-huh.
it's picking up audio, it just doesn't have
Yeah,
video.
it just says
It's
picture,
not picking up that.
that camera. Carly's on her way over,
Okay,
so we'll just carry on.
okay.
And everybody will just get to look at my bald head on the video.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion passes. Okay, public comments. And then we'll move on to communications to and from the board. I have a bid for obsolete property, which we'll address. Pretty sure we can address that under the agenda. On the agenda under.
Under me.
Report.
Not there.
It's there. Okay, yeah, just making sure it's there. Okay. And then we have a thank you note from the First Bank of Montana. It says Fort Benton Schools and Russ. Thank you for the use of the grills and picnic tables. The kickoff luncheon was a success. The weather conditions didn't seem to damper the event. Russ, we appreciate the assistance in delivering the grills. Thanks again. Some celebration. Okay, I did receive a copy of the latest audit report in the mail too, as usual, and so if anyone would like to request to see it, we have copies available. Okay. I don't have anything for board chairs report, so we can move on to Jamie. Okay. Pretty quick, I don't have much for a general report. I've just been trying to finish up schedules as pieces come in, for next year. I've been trying to put together and pick needs and order what we have to, and I looked into a few fundraising things that I've contacted some people with. They're supposed to be getting back to me because we have some big, they're not absolute needs, but we're gonna have some big needs. You know, the track has a lot of things that we need to work towards. We would like to redo the discus ring. It's kind of in rough shape. Make a permanent one there, and the high jump mat is pretty poor. And the pole vault is, you know, they're gonna hit their points, so. Just looking into some fundraising, I'd also like some new volleyball poles. We at least need a new net because we are hosting divisional tournaments, so. So trying to figure out where we can, get those down the road.
Have you asked Booster Club at all?
I talked, well, I waited until I knew all the pieces of what, so I talked to Shanna tonight about the volleyball, and then Shaw and I talked about track, so yes, we're gonna be coming. I wanted to wait and see what we had and what we could do, and kind of prioritize things. We were able to get a new runway, and so that was a need. And Dems brought it across the country for us and saved us freight cost.
Wow.
And so I was able to manage that. So I kind of I put it off waiting to see, because that was a definite need. And so I had to wait and see if that could happen before I needed to know if I needed to request it or not. So yes, I met with Shanna today, and Kevin and I talked as well. So we're coming.
Okay.
And then just getting ready for next year, little by little. Do you have any questions before I go into my hiring suggestions? Okay. A few finish up things, and I think we'll have most things in place. Middle school volleyball coaches. Peggy and I are going to step down after a good run together. And it's hard to walk away. We both love it, but I think we found some good recommendations to take our place. Amanda Brown is your new government teacher. She's very educated in volleyball. She comes from a family, her dad was my referee when I was growing up playing. She has coached middle school programs as well. And she is interested and would gladly take this role on. So I would like to recommend Amanda Brown as one of the middle school volleyball coaches. And the second one is someone who's kind of tied to the program in a sense, Shannon Grossman. She works with the high school program with their mental skills. And she's been around it, and she has family that knows it well, and she is more than willing to support Amanda in this role. So I'd like to recommend Amanda and Shannon as our middle school volleyball coaches for the year.
Second.
Thanks, Gail. Any discussion?
Just like to thank you and Peggy for your years of service.
Yeah, thank you.
Very long run.
It was a lot of fun. If I wasn't, and I love this part, what I'm doing right now too, but I'd probably still be doing it if I could do both. I think we love it.
And we've had some good success all the way through our volleyball program, I think, because of the stability of that, so thank you. It's been good. Yes. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Middle school basketball, that starts early, it starts in October. So my recommendations will be slightly different for the girls. I would like to recommend Shannon Grossman, who you've had before and done it before, and Kim Hibble, who was volunteer. I'd like to recommend her to move into that second position, as Rihanna is going to be having a baby and decided that she needed to step back from it for now. So I would like to recommend Shannon Grossman and Kim Hibble to lead the middle school girls basketball. I can join you boys at the same time or separate.
I think, well, let's just do them separately, I guess.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
For the boys, I would like to recommend we continue with our leaders of the past, Callie O'Hara and Megan Lords, as the middle school boys coaches.
So moved.
A second. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
I know that in my email to you with my list, I did write down high school basketball. I'm gonna put it off for a month. Just because we have to split in the assistants. And I want to check and make sure with Highwood that if they're still sending, I just want to make sure that I have everything in place, so. I'm not concerned or worried, I just want to put it off a month. So I'm gonna skip over that one. Look at the list here. And I think we're down to the fall host. And last year Eric Wellman helped me and did a tremendous job, but he also is with the football and it was a lot and busy. And so he said if we could find somebody else that he would let them have it. The gentleman that you have hired to be our new gym teacher. Or I said Jim and they must not call it Jim back there. He looked at me and said something funny. So our new PA teacher, Jeff Plotzer, to be the fall host. He's been a football coach,
Wrestling coach.
a wrestling coach, he's been in the gym, he's gonna know the gym, and I think he'll be a great asset to support us in.
Great.
I'll make that motion.
I feel like we should get our new teachers in every year to the first board meeting of the year, so we can meet them all, you know? Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
And I believe that's all I have for you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Did we already hire you for next year?
Yes,
Okay, that we did that in the spring, didn't we?
we did last meeting.
Okay, that's fine.
We talked about it and then we did it last week.
It was a split vote.
I was curious.
Thank you. I think that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions for me.
Is there, so like with the last year where the high school boys basketball coaches split the
Yeah.
captain? How'd that work out as far as the timing? 'Cause I know they're both doing other things. too.
They were both there most of the time.
That's all,
You know, Megan has a son who plays for another town.
right?
And so I think she missed a few little tiny pieces, but. You know, so they split the pay because we have on our CBA, we have one assistant paid.
Yeah.
I think it was a good split. And they both put in. More than they probably got paid for, to be honest. And I would like to. Most likely, I think would like to continue, I just want to make sure everything's in place, you know, before I say anything. Continue that again, knowing Megan would like to, if possible, go to her stepson's game if it works out. And so that's why I'll come back and revisit it with you next month.
I just think it is make sure it's fair for all, you know, like, if she's not gonna be there, you know, if they're splitting. Maybe like.
Yeah, no, she was there, her concern was missing games.
Yeah.
She was there for every practice, and I'm pretty sure she was there for almost every game.
She missed 3 or 4.
Yeah.
mostly attendance.
So. So I should have that next month, right, so. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so, thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, Russ.
Pretty quick report. Again, as we always start out, you go up and down the halls of both schools. You'll see a few items out in the hall, Larry and Corey. And Brooke has helped out immensely up here at the high school with Larry and, help move things around, and then she goes down and helps Corey, and Corey's just done an outstanding job down there. I don't think it's been cleaner than that. He tore everything apart and really clean, and we're working on kind of the last. They've got their days down. Larry's been kind of forward with him on when we go into different things. We'll shut the gyms down here at the end of the month. And Larry will start the finish process on the cafeteria floor with the oil and the floor in the elementary gymnasium. And then they'll be around the first week of the month and do the sanding and prep on the gym floor. And it's a normal process. We close it down with a 2-week period. It gives us a chance to get a few other things done, and we have a few things to do on the signs and a few things. But thank them a lot. They'll have it ready to go, and I don't think it'll look any better than it is this year. If you go up and down the hall again, other than he needs to wax the floors, and they look good from last year, but he still wants to touch them up. So big thank you tonight to our city crew, and I know that you've all heard it and everything, but our mayor and our city crew over the weekend had a crisis in our school, both schools, obviously involved, which is kind of odd, just where things were. We were involved with both schools, and we're still working a few things out. So Scott and Kelly and Jason and Davin and Austin and Carlos and of course Mayor Lanning, both schools, had it been, during a school year, we would have had a major crisis as we've had before. But they worked, Jens and Excavating and Two Rivers Excavating over here, all got involved and they took care of it. So, congratulations and how hard they all got it done, and the community really pulled together, and they now have some other things that they're working on, but Kale for his help over here when we had the rainstorm that came through that, Jamie, the track looked like it was gonna go maybe into a mud bath.
You get bass fish in the triangle over there.
Yeah, the triangle had a foot sitting in it. But Kale, we dumped right in and we got the buckets underneath the leaks and got that handled, and we did some other work together. So the work is continued on the kitchen. Plumbing repairs have begun. They started last week and they dug outside. Have that portion of it done. He's now working on the inside and was working on the holes today. And they'll continue until that gets dug to the outside through the foundation and get our, he hopes by Friday that he's all done and we're ready to start the back process. Not too much cleaning. We'll everything has to be cleaned anyhow, so it won't make any difference, as far as the kitchen staff. That's a normal thing. He's got everything's tarped and visqueen, and so it's gonna be a normal cleaning. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be with the removal of the slab. Moving stuff from the fairgrounds building, trying to get that kind of weeded out, and that's kind of a process. Just general maintenance around that we have lists of stuff to do. Helping Carly with tech and trying to get all of that stuff lined up as we go forward, and I know that Pat has a report on that, but as we go forward, we have quite a bit of tech and we're working on that, and some stuff with Jamie on tech too. Mowing and spraying, the state boiler inspector's been here for the second time. Don't know no indication of why. He gave us the numbers and then he came back. And, we have a few repairs that he wants to see done before we fire. And he wants to fire as soon as possible, so we will have some repairs going on this next week. We have to get it certified as soon as we can, so. We'll have a few things that we need to get taken care of that he wants to see done on it, so. Other than that, just, trying to fit in all the stuff. Well, maybe. Well, maybe.
You think the boilers are ready to go? Otherwise, for winter?
Oh, yeah.
Good to go?
Yeah, other than, we still had, we had, on the budget part of it, we had shut off FICO from fixing they were gonna come in as recent as, a couple weeks ago or whatever, and fix the one leak that we have. He wants to see that done. And, there was, and it has nothing to do with them or anything, on one of the exhaust pipes, which you've been down there, they're 4 foot. There was a kind of a crack around one of the flanges, and he noticed it when they were looking at it, and so they're gonna put some roll caulk in that. And there was something to do with one of the gas valves that he wanted checked on pressure or something like that. So there's a few things that he wanted checked, and then he'll show back up and they'll come back down and they'll fire them. It doesn't matter what kind of year, but they'll fire them. But yeah, we're all ready this year. Yeah, we're sitting a lot better than we were. So other than, this will be a third visit, which is, I talked to our insurance guy that comes around for Hartford. And he had called to ask a couple questions about it, and he just thought it was kind of unusual with the guys being, just staying with it. Normally, when they come in, they give you your number, and then the Hartford guy starts checking it and goes over it. But he brought in another engineer, which actually was a kind of a good thing last week, because he was able to give Craig the permit that he needed to go with the plumbing, and so everything's been working out. We're still going forward.
So you were rolling through the plumbing updates. Is this elementary stuff or high school stuff?
This would be at the high school or the elementary kitchen.
The elementary kitchen. Okay.
Yes. The smell that we had,
Okay,
we located it, it's taken care of, and in order to do that, the water was coming underneath the slab from the kitchen sink. So we're replumbing the kitchen sink out directly to the drain outside.
so it's addressing the smell issue, not necessarily getting into the full sewer pipe project.
It's
that we're
the
talking
Band-Aid,
about.
yep.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to clarify, yeah,
Well, we're into the floor, but it's just in the kitchen.
okay,
But,
gotcha,
yeah, I mean. All that smell has gone away, so.
That's great.
That was the main addressing of this, and then finding why, well, it was just leaking underneath that slab.
Okay.
He's got a hole down there and it smells pretty bad. Just because that dirt's rot.
Right.
So.
Okay.
And it's been that way for, obviously, for years.
yeah.
So.
I also wanted to ask about the leaks at the high school is that an ongoing thing that we're
Yes.
gonna have to have on our? Like, what needs to be done? Is it? a
We
new
had
one?
3 different contractors in and looking at it at different times. And we have a metal roof, and if you want to replace metal roof for 1.4. They don't know where it's at. Or fine. It's and we have a rubber roof. And it comes in somewhere on the metal. Comes down in on the rubber roof. And then it kind of trickles in after about 2 days. The one in the back, the gutter needs to be this wide instead of this wide, because you're draining 2 football fields off of that down in there. We had that down 4, we had 2 inches.
Mhm.
It just couldn't take the water.
One in the athletic department office. And wrestling room. And boys' bathroom.
Yeah.
Should be about it.
But we went up there this spring and redid that and we had no problem with it, and then all of a sudden it just
So when
started.
you have a big torrential rain, it starts
Yeah.
to, so it's concentrated in three different places?
Yes.
It's not all over the building, it's just,
No.
okay.
And ironically, we have a couple leaks that and you've been there when we've had the one in the gym at the elementary. And we've had that little spot on the floor. Nothing.
Hmm.
All of a sudden. We checked that, but all these rainstorms, nothing. And the one in the hallway by the library, not a drop, and then none of them. So it's just hard telling, but there's, it's a 2-roof system up there, and we've caulked and laid down mastic and everything else and liquid tar. Just finding a spot somewhere.
Hmm. Okay.
I mean, I haven't dropped the idea of trying to get it fixed, but it's, you go up there and look around and you can't see anything.
Yeah,
That's a hard fix, because the slope group was supposed to fix it originally.
yeah.
But it-
But it
It's
hasn't-
like Russ says, that stuff just gets in, just does.
Mhm.
And not all the elementary is even capped yet, so that's why there's more leaks down there. So,
Mm.
primary wing in the original part of the building, so.
Mm.
I think the gym has though.
Yeah, it's got me all over, but but it's just, you wouldn't think after they tinned it that they didn't have any kind of leak at all. And that rain, I know that rain that comes off that gutter, I think that the gutter gets so full that it comes back up and oh gosh, it's been probably 6 years ago, Brian came over and they took all the gutter down and took all the tin up and re-flashed that underneath there and re-caulked that whole edge and set it all back down and put it all back together, and it still comes back up, and that one over there is coming more back out of that gutter and then flowing back up because it's so full.
Do the gutters have gutter guards over there?
Was that?
Gutter guards?
No, but I keep that pretty clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep that one pretty clean. And if you ever come here on a rainstorm and watch that, go in and watch the rainfall and all that water going over into the triangle off of that downspout that goes over in there. No, it's just like great falls. I mean, it's just pouring out of it. And that one night that it rained that inch and a half or whatever. It's just coming out there, just like, I mean, it was just horrendous how much water was coming with that roof. It just couldn't keep up with it. And my own thought is that the gutter needs to be like a big gutter instead of like a 6-inch,
So the engineers you've had come haven't offered any,
I've never taken
Solutions.
anybody up there other than contractors,
oh,
his contractor.
oh.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, did Roxy leave any?
Roxy sent
Oh,
us,
Roxy
sent you an
us-
email with her report, and I've spoken to her, she's, at the national convention. And so, if you have any questions, I have her report, her email that she sent to you. And yeah, that pretty much covers her report for this month.
Okay. We'll move on to yours. I
Okay,
guess.
here we go. As Russ mentioned, Carly has been in and been working with Russ and with the folks about 3 things: fobs, cameras, and phones. And so, excuse me, I'm here to present to you a bid, what we agreed to, and I'll let Callie speak to the funding, but we managed to have some funding at the end of the year that's going to help us cover the cost of these projects. This first one is the fobs, and basically gives you the dollar amount for the fob system. And this increases the level of security we have in the building. It gives us the capability of turning fobs off and on. It gives us being able to identify whose fob is whose. We can have them on for a certain period of time. We can shut them off for a certain period of time. It gives it, there's the flexibility we just had to upgrade. And when I first landed a year ago, I talked to Russ. One of the first things he said to me was that this was an issue we just have to take on, the fobs. And so it's been a while coming, but it's a really good step. And with the it sounds like, Russ, correct me, but I believe the coordination of them upgrading this should coincide with when we have the gym shut down, working on the floor.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I think. So then we'll have to, be communicating to the people that currently have fobs in the community about what's going on with that, and our good friends at the paper can help us a little bit with that information. But that's the first one. I signed off on this yesterday. Callie said we have the money, so we're good to go with upgrade of the fob system.
So are the cards in the fobs? Like there's little cards, which is obviously cheaper than there's actual
So
fobs.
we'll have a certain number of like the fobs that we have now for our faculty and staff, as they're just more durable
And they were more expensive.
and they're way more expensive.
Yep.
So our gym members, that are community members and like middle school coaches and things like that, they'll actually have a card
Cool.
that are much easier and
And cheap.
cheaper to replace. Saving us quite a bit of money, because that's where our large expense was fobs out to community members. But I didn't know, due to the dollar amount of this, if you guys wanted to make a motion to approve it. It would make the auditor happy.
Okay.
Well,
Doesn't
hurt then.
And just so you know, on this line item, he had in there, and they had $4,000
Yeah.
to wire.
Thank you.
And I did the wiring, we're all ready to go, so, basically saved
$4,000, yeah.
over your bid price by doing our own wiring.
Thank you for bringing that up,
And
Russ.
we were able to pay for this out of our technology funds that we had kind of bankrolled during ESSER. So,
I'll
And
make a
thanks for
motion.
yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Will.
Sorry, I'll second.
Thanks, Darren.
If he's gonna ask us to draw fobs, is enough?
How many fobs?
It says 12. Is that 10?
I think it's a pack of 12.
Oh,
I think it's a package.
Yeah, there's 10 in the
Yeah.
pack of 12.
and is
So
that
there's,
your
yeah,
3 packs in the card, is that what?
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at a point when we didn't have any more fobs. I mean, she kept a
Yeah, we
couple
didn't
out.
have any more fobs to
Yeah.
give to our new teachers.
Yeah, and so, and again, this just provides us with a level of control of who's in and out of the building, and we know who has what fob and who has what card.
Will you be able to tell like with the fob, like who was?
Yes, ma'am, and what time and for how long? Well, we can't tell for how long they were in the building, because they obviously don't check out of the building. But we
Right.
can tell what time they came in,
Sure.
and then if there was some other issue, based on the timestamp of when they came in, we can check the cameras.
Oh, that's
Yep.
really good.
Yeah, and then we have the ability to turn them off and program them, so like, if Kales was just for, gym use,
It's
we
really
can set it
crazy set.
so that we can set it during those times. So if he comes during school hours to swipe his card to get into the building, he can't get into the building. Where now, any of those community members that have a fob can access our building during school hours. So this provides a whole nother level of security, that the only ones that can access our building with a fob or a card during school hours are our actual faculty and staff, and like EMS and those type of people.
And the other two situations where somebody loses one.
Yep.
Somebody else could be using it, we would have no idea
Right.
who has it. And secondly, when we had the lockdown, and we had to disable all the fobs, whatever, well. The only way we knew who had that particular fob when we restarted the system was I told Carly what my fob number, what my number on the fob is. So that's, the system was just antiquated. It just was time to be upgraded, so.
And this is high school only, or is?
This is the whole
elementary
school.
too? It's everything,
It's
okay, so,
everything.
the intercom viewer, that's the one that goes outside the door, right?
Yep.
To show so it says 2, are
Yep,
we not putting one on this middle school
No.
door down here? Okay,
because that is not a main access point during the school day. That door is only to be used by faculty and staff during the day.
Historically in the fall.
Yes,
But
and
this one right here.
This was the middle school
That you
door.
Came in for.
This
Oh,
one.
Okay.
so the only door that we really want community coming through during school
Okay,
days
it's not by
is
the
that
outside.
high school door.
okay,
So it'll be kind of a shift for our UPS drivers and things like that.
Mhm.
But we felt like it was just better control of who's in and who's out if the only way they're getting in is there and somebody's seeing them come through by the high school office. Cause there's not always somebody in the business office. We might be at other meetings or in and out.
Yeah.
And versus getting all the way in through our school, because from here you can go two ways and we in our business office can't see where you went. Where the high school office, somebody probably has eyes on you better of where you went.
Yeah.
So the intercom viewers that we've had in the past haven't been working super
Correct.
slick, right? So that's a good,
Correct.
hopefully upgrade.
Yep. And the schoolhouse IT company Carly has really felt like they do a really good job and all they do is work with schools. And they've been really great to work with. So
She mentioned the same, yeah.
may look forward to doing more business with them in the future. So,
Did we pass that motion?
We had a motion and a second, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
so we're good. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, what I'm gonna hand out to you now is a video surveillance proposal, the cameras. And the copies you're gonna receive are in black and white, but in the board report you're gonna get tomorrow in the mail from me, if you click on the link, you can look at the proposal in color. Okay, it's just, I just decided to save some cost of the color, printing color paper. Okay,
and this system too has been paid for with our technology monies.
so the first set of information you're gonna see are the details of what's been changed at the elementary school. And Russ, did you get a copy of that too? You have a copy? In case I have a question, Russ is gonna know more about the details of this than I am, but when you look at the elementary campus picture, you see the upper corner up there by the kindergarten, there's a camera they're putting in that corner that's gonna show a 3/4 angle view. It'll be able to, if you rotate around in that corner, that's over where the buses are. They'll pick up the bus. That was one of the things that Roxy was talking about, that we needed some, there's been some situations there in that bus lane where it was blind and we needed some help there. And then there's, you see that the other cameras that are posted there are either new or being moved to those locations to be able to provide a better view of the the hallways in the elementary school.
So the one, if you're looking at those three, you're gonna put a brand new one out front. Which we don't have. We're gonna take the one, if you're looking straight at that picture, we're gonna put a new camera right as you walk in. That will go out towards the front and then down that hallway towards the cafeteria. That'll be the new camera. And the camera that's right there now will move across the hallway to the gym and catch this bathroom that we don't have right now. That boys' bathroom, we don't have anything right there. So we'll have the girls' bathroom going down the hallway and we'll have the boys' bathroom going all the way down this way. And then he's gonna move a new camera to the hallway. If you see that splayed out, going down towards the band room door.
And would the bathrooms that are in this hallway, are they
Yeah.
covered by anything?
Yeah. So all the bathrooms will be covered now. Before we were not covered. We're not covering the boys' bathroom right next to the gymnasium. So, and as Pat just said, one of the advantages of having this camera over here on the very corner, we're gonna put it outside on the shop corner out there. That'll cover that, that goes all the way around. That'll cover both crosswalks and the kids, always go across there, 3-4 times a day. Going across to the courthouse and then cutting over to the playground. That'll cover that crosswalk and that camera has enough vantage point. It'll cover quite a bit of that playground out that way. So if we have anything, you can zoom that out there, he said, and get that playground, which we don't have. And we don't have anything on the crosswalk. Kids are crossing all day long. We don't have anything on that crosswalk. So really, really important stuff.
So that's the elementary, new cameras and adjustments. Thank you, Russ. In the middle school, high school, Russ, you want to talk about the exterior cameras there too as well, please?
So as we look straight down the picture, you're gonna look at the T and I building. We have nothing on that corner, so we're gonna come out and put one on the T and I corner. That'll cover that whole area of their T and I door. It'll go all the way around that parking lot and you come all the way around most of that. And it'll hit, not quite all of the back door, as they come around the corner into the school. There's a new camera going right there at the band room door that will splay outwards. We have one already on that parking area. And then there's another one that's gonna be brand new on the corner of the T and I building that will cover that parking area that is used for football and stuff like that. That main runway coming down that hill. There's a new one going in the junior high over here that will right out this door. That will look out towards the bus zone that we don't have out this door.
In the parking lot.
Yeah.
It'll get the parking
Yeah,
lot.
so we catch that parking lot on this end down here. The high school has another one going in on that door. It'll cover the parking lot that a lot of the kids or faculty park in on the front of the school. And then catch the parking lot over there. And we have another one going in down here on this end that we don't have right now.
We do need a motion on this one as well.
You want to separate it?
Yeah, we better do that.
You can look into the elementary.
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion, questions? District 1 only. Excuse me. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
And I think the installation's about 3 weeks, they were gonna start ordering, and just today. And, I told them I wouldn't touch the wires until next week, just on the way things are going right now. They figured that would be plenty to, that they had plenty of lead time to get the wire in there. But he figured by the time they got something, it'd be 3 weeks, but, all this stuff can be done even if school is going on, we're gonna be outside quite a bit.
Okay. So we need a motion now on the high school cameras.
Before you talk about the motion, there is one final page there to look at the interior cameras. In the high school hallways, there's one at the end of the hallway here that faces back into the hallway, there's one down. Kind of nearby by my office that kind of goes both ways. We had a couple situations this year, we learned that there's a couple dead spots right there. So we were looking at cameras from both angles, but the place where things happened was right in the middle where there was a dead spot. And then you'll see one inside the gymnasium over there by where the officials room is that faces out into the gym. One in the Longhorn cafeteria there, and then one in the end of the hallway. And
And there is a new one in the weight room.
in the weight room, thank
The
you,
weight, because of the swap thing, the weight room has his.
thank you.
A brand new one, that will wire in the cycle.
And again, those were all being paid for with, these are ESSER
Tech money.
tech money, technically, thank you.
Okay, any question? Well, we need a motion, I guess.
Still moved on the high school.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions or discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
The final thing that Carly's been working on, God bless her for that. She's just done a great job in working with Russ and these folks. She's been working a lot of her summer putting this together, but looking at the update of the phone system. And she did a scrub of the buildings and found we were able to eliminate 11 phones from the original quote. And she did not have that quote by the time of the board meeting tonight. So we'll hopefully have that for you at the August board meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We did get our preliminary report back about the accreditation report. And we've been given regular status, accreditation status. And I haven't had a chance, I'm going to the School Administrators of Montana Conference next week. And I was rather happy about that, given the fact that it was a new process. And we sent out a report in and kind of held our breath, and they sent back some stuff, and they've been looking for a couple of revisions to reports and things like that. But honestly, with the new accreditation report, I feel like that's positive news. I think it's good news. I mean, anytime you're getting at least regular status or not, we're not, getting docked or, given some reprimand about what we should have done or something. I thought it was good news. And remember that the new accreditation process this is the first of a 2-year cycle. We got part of it in this year. We're gonna continue to add to it for next year. The other thing I realized this morning when I was putting together my notes for the meeting that I still haven't brought to you a copy of it. I'll promise to bring that to you in the next meeting or two, a copy of the draft of what we were working on, that committee, that Community Engagement Task Force was working on, called the Graduate Profile. And so we'll bring you a draft of that. There's still things in motion that we need to work on, but the fact that both the elementary and the middle school, high school have regular status, again, I took as a positive. So
Great.
cheers to that.
Yep.
Here. The next real quick thing, just, you've heard, we talked before about one of our teachers that's in transition, but we hired 5 new teachers in the middle school, high school, and 3 of the 5 of them have already been on campus, have been here asking about keys and technology and such, and the other 2 are traveling, so they'll be joining us shortly, but really excited about the new teachers and no issues with housing. Let's knock on wood and answer the prayers about that. But so we're in a good spot with it's been nice to come into the office this time of year and not be looking at my job sites every day when I walk in the door. So knock on wood that all works out. And the young man that he's young because he's younger than me, the PE teacher who's transitioning here found a house and is renting, and they'll be here by the middle part of August. So just to follow up with what Russ mentioned about I asked Russ, he was kind enough to give Roxy and I called it a plumbing tour, because, I wanted to be sure that as we're talking about in the Building and Grounds Committee, and we're talking about this shower and that urinal and this sink, whatever, I wanted to be pretty sure I knew exactly what we were talking about. So I asked Russ to give us a tour, and we're going to talk later in the agenda about the Building and Grounds Committee's recommendation about seeking some funds to be able to work on some of these projects. But there's some profound challenges, some profound problems that I talked to Jamie, one in the middle school locker room well, there are many of them are pretty embarrassing for us as we have guests in the house, and we have a lot for which to be proud. We have a really nice facility and great people that work here, and so there are things that money will help start to remedy. So anyway, we just wanted to let you know, identify to you that we did. I asked Roxy to come because Russ was kind enough to take us to elementary school too. Remember that the committee talked about the elementary showers there as well. So we've been updated on that from just this last week with Russ of that. I guess on a personal note, I would share with you, I appreciate your willingness to let me travel in June and miss the board meeting. My apologies. My thoughts were certainly with you, but it was a really cool for me personally. I got to visit my previous school and attend the high school graduation there after attending our high school graduation here. And as much as enriching and endearing as that was, it was really great to come home. It was really nice to come back in here, to come back to work here. So it's nice to see your smiling faces and be back in the saddle here for a bit. So that's basically, you'll see some other things that we're working on in the big picture in the board report that you'll see tomorrow. I'll made a note about having the new staff attend the upcoming board meeting when they get their boots on the ground.
I think that'd be nice.
So I gave you the technology update. There's my general report. Listed under my report also, it says early literacy student approval. I talked with Roxy because she wasn't able to be here. It's more than just approving a number of students, whatever. She'd like to give a little bit more of a report. So she kindly asked if we could postpone that to the August board meeting.
Okay.
And I told her I talked to Callie and we said we would. Okay. And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wanted to mention really quick, because I kind of forgot about this, but one of the local real estate agents had contacted me while I was out of the country, just to let me know that the Fort Motel had gone on the market. So, whether or not that has any bearing on what we do, it's adjacent to our property, so I thought it was worth mentioning. So,
I think it is sold.
oh, really, already? That was
Mhm.
fast. Okay.
Yeah, Bethany knows. Bethany's got the scoop.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I'm not sure. I can't really do Yeah.
We made a great parking lot.
For housing, who knows, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so, we're now on the clerk's report.
on to me. The first thing I have is I need to get a motion for a correction to May's minutes. I was not at the May meeting and, you guys approved a list of people to hire, but I missed typing in Russ and Cody and Paul in my minutes that you guys hired them. So I just need a motion to correct those minutes.
Okay, right now,
Yes.
Kyla made the motion and Brant seconded.
in your second. Any questions about that?
Sorry,
Oh, all good.
I can't even blame it on the chemo.
Thanks for catching it. And any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, and the only other thing, I don't really have much going on. We finished the year, obviously in the black. And we're able to go into the next year with full reserves. And full reserves just means that because you don't collect any money from July until October when taxes are due. So if you go in with full reserves, we actually have cash for that time period, which makes the treasurer happy and all of us happy instead of having to go back and, start from in a negative position. So that's really good because last year we didn't come in with full reserves and it got kind of tight there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that doesn't happen. So excited about that. And then in my other part of my general report, in our athletics, we have tons of activity accounts and we have several that are obsolete. And so I just need a motion to close those. Most of them are like, just consolidating accounts, making our life easier. Because as of now, we have 82 activity accounts that we try to deal with and manage. So if we can kind of consolidate some of them, that would be great. And I think they can all be in one motion and I'll just tell you each one that
List.
to consolidate, yeah.
Okay,
The first one is, we used to have a drafting, account. And now we can move that all into our Ag Ed account because we don't offer any drafting classes. Mr. Allen used to have a drafting class that they would take on field trips and stuff. And or pay for the very expensive AutoCAD program with, which we no longer offer. So I would like to move that one into our Ag Ed classes. So it's Ag Ed /TNI, and that's where Brooke buys a lot of supplies and things out of for those students, like our 7th and 8th graders that are, making shelves and that kind of thing. So that's the first one. The second one would be the class of 2024. Obviously, they don't need an account anymore. The second one is we had an account for summer camps for boys and girls basketball. They now just put their funds in their respective basketball accounts. And that account has a $1 balance. So I don't have to keep track of $1.
Qualified.
Yeah, $5. There you go. The second one is Little Longhorns. That one actually is mistitled. It should be middle school football. I guess back in the day, they called it Little Longhorns, but it's technically middle school football. So I would just like to rename that one to middle school football. The other one is Little Dribblers. They used to, run all of their funds through us. They now handle that all separately per our auditor's request. And so that $12.24, because it is an elementary account, we will just dump that into our elementary activities.
I have a
Account.
question. The class of 2024.
Yep. They have to decide what they want to do with it.
Shouldn't they go
So-
to first graders?
Nope,
They came in and tried to spend it like crazy.
they
At
did.
the end of the year.
So, like the class of 2023, they donated that all to the 7th graders. Their leftover money.
Move that.
So they still have to get back to me, their class president, on what they want to do with that. Whether they donate that towards a new marquee or a new water fountain, they can donate it to something in our building, or they can donate it to another class or another activity fund. They can't buy anything with it. But like, yeah, last year Jackson,
Can I buy something for the school?
yes,
Okay.
but like, you know, yeah, last year's seniors, if you look down here at the seventh grade class, that $1,000 they have is from the seniors the year before. Most of them had siblings in that class, and so they just voted to donate it.
You still have 2023 on the bottom?
Yep, it'll fall off.
Okay.
It takes a while for them to. After, because you can't delete an account until after your audit. So
Okay.
they stay on here until we start our new school year. And then on the back page, we have the NFL Foundation. That money, we would like to just move that to football. That NFL Foundation account was started when Scott Gregg was here. And he received a grant for football in there. And we don't, that's not something that will continue anymore. So we just like to put that money in football. And most importantly, because football is having to buy all new helmets this year. So they could use all the money they can get. Jamie would appreciate it. The other one is 75 summer camp. That was opened and established when we had the PEAK program, which we no longer qualify for, that PEAK grants. And it's zero. The Spanish club. We no longer have a Spanish club. So we were kind of torn
Yeah, it's been a while.
as to what to do with those funds, if we should keep them, but I don't know if we'll ever have a Spanish club again. So it's up to you guys to kind of tell me if we had thought about maybe just putting it in student council, because it would benefit all students then. Because we use kind of student council money for like their Christmas activities and Longhorn Day. Yep, so that was kind of our thought there, is that we would put it there in the student council. Because also student council sometimes is where if we had a student that was in need, the student council would get together and choose to, you know, maybe purchase backpacks or things like that for a student in need. So I felt like that was an appropriate place to maybe put that Spanish club money.
I would recommend and support that idea.
And then the class of 2020 did not finish spending their money. And still has a balance there. The class of 2023, that one will all go away now that we got a hold of them, that they had, still had extra in there. Because they wanted to donate it to the incoming, you know, split it between the middle school, 7th and 8th graders. Huh?
That was the COVID year.
Yep.
Everything just kind of.
Scram to a halt. So the class of 2020, I wasn't quite sure. And I thought again, just put it to the student council. And the student council could decide if they wanted to spend that money to buy something for their school.
Which line is that? Which number?
81.
Oh, it's not on there.
It doesn't show.
Oh, it's cut off on there.
It goes to 82.
Oh, so yeah, 81 is on there.
Are
So,
classes only allowed to have money 7th through seniors, or do they start when they're?
nope. They only start in 7th grade. $900.
Could
so-
that go to in the incoming 7th grade class?
The class of 2023 already gave them quite a bit of money.
Okay,
The income, the next like 2030 or the 2029?
2030, they split it between the two middle school class, because they'd already given what would be the 8th graders quite a bit of money.
Mhm.
So they said they'd give it to the next 7th grade
Okay.
crew.
the 6th grade class is loaded.
Yes,
Number 28.
yes, they are.
That was the other back.
Uh-huh. They sold magazines.
Oh,
The good old magazine sales.
good times.
That was the last of Mrs. Utterback's magazine sales, I think.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
we felt like those classes that we could put it in student council. And then the student council could get together and vote if they wanted to buy something for the building. So,
We need a motion, we can do that all at once, but if you have a request for something different.
I make a motion to do that all at once.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Mhm. Any questions or concerns?
The egg ed class fund, is that where?
What?
The egg ed class,
yes,
is that where the Perkins money goes?
no, Perkins money is separate. ed class is a lot, the money is what she like, she charges a shop fee. And so that's what that money is. Perkins grant,
It's money from
it's federal money,
federal money, then they give it to us for job training.
so vocational classes, so CTE classes, so like Marta was a CTE teacher and taught that CNA class, and we got separate money for that. And then Rob Truax taught it for a while, and so we got money for that. So any of our teachers that become CTE certified can offer a vocational or a non-traditional pathway class, and then we receive more money for that.
There's not a lot there, but-
It's enough to keep, you know, our shop updated and like, last year, I think Jackson was one of the ones that was on that little committee that when they went over to, Flathead to take that welding test, those welders were so much newer and so much hotter that they all failed because they were like, we had never, like, that was way cool. We didn't know what to do.
Right.
Cause we'd never seen any welders like that.
Yeah.
And so now we have 3 of the brand new welders with the Perkins money. So, and then this year she bought, some new shop tools and hand tools and a bandsaw. And I think on her list is some new sanders, cause some of that stuff in the wood shop hasn't been updated since my dad was here. I mean,
Hasn't
they're-
been used either.
yeah, and that's all, and now that she's teaching wood shop, she was, you know, had reached out and was like, what should I get? Cause I know that Brooke too wants to start having more, like a more diverse type class and do like some more jewelry and pottery and some things that haven't been offered in a while. So we're trying to get all that updated. And trying to get more girls involved in shop.
Good.
So.
I just think I just seen it more and more, I guess because Jackson's coming, that he's in Bozeman, but it just seems like big trade schools and.
Yeah, and your Perkins money is based on that. How many of your students follow through with that? So there's a percentage of them and your, you know, funding is somewhat based on that of how many of the students were in the class, what their grades were, I mean, it is the most intensive grant that I complete. For the least amount of money. You've got to track them all and then you have to track how they did in English, math, and science. In addition to completing their CTE courses, did you have a bunch of freshmen and no seniors? That's a problem. Why? Why didn't you have any students following through with it? And so like Brooke, I will give her credit. She's really trying hard, you know, like this year she had, I think Michael was the only girl in her advanced egg class. And so they did like, they brought John Turner in and they did some jewelry and then they did a lot of leather working and things like that, trying to entice it. Like, it's not just all welding and engines and grease. We, you know, are doing some other things too. So she's trying to encourage that aspect of it. So,
Okay, so we have absolute property.
Yes.
Have a bid in front of me, but haven't opened it, so.
We passed the motion, we voted the motion.
no,
We moved in second, but I don't think we voted on the motion.
we have not.
Not too long, I lost track
Okay,
of where we
it's okay.
were.
That's all right.
It's okay. just-
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, nice to meet
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. There you go. We took your number down by quite a bit.
I know, thank you. Connie, thanks you especially.
Okay, this bid. Bids for obsolete equipment, so it's multiple bids. We have $75 on a hydraulic tire dolly. $30 for an Astra Power MIG 130, 110 volt. $30 for a 1/2-inch metal bandsaw. $10 for an 1/8-inch pneumatic die grinder. Solar, electrical / battery tester, $25. A spool gun, $50. A Skill 8-inch bench top drill press, $30. And this is signed by Paul P. With Jr.
I can't remember which column it is.
You may see that.
Yeah.
And then I'll need a copy of it.
Okay.
And we don't have multiple bids, so
Nope.
we can just have a motion to approve this. That's
Like
have any
you also-
concerns?
Paul's recommendation. Get rid of it.
Make that recommendation, accept them.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Committee reports, so, before we talk about scheduling, let's talk about. We don't have. A committee report on here for buildings and grounds, but we need to be discussing that, so. Let's do that first.
Okay. Well, we had a committee meeting, discussed. We need some money, too, because of the plumbing projects that are. So our recommendation, we get the moment to apply for a $500,000 intercap loan. And was our recommendation to also include running a levy in June, or does that even need to be on this recommendation?
It was gonna be, she didn't set the budget till July, if I recall.
Or
So,
May,
May.
Well,
May,
but we need to
but do we
decide
need to
before
make
the-
that with the recommendation, or there should be more discussion down the road on the levy? The recommendation should just be the $500,000 intercap loan,
yeah,
but I don't wanna. I wanna make sure that's how the committee.
yeah,
Otherwise, you're stopping your levy from increasing in the future when you wanna go forward. Right.
yeah.
I think it wouldn't hurt to hold off on the, I mean, if we're gonna wait till. June, maybe we should fill everyone else in on why we need to,
Wait till May.
wait, but if that's the plan, then I think we could put off that vote. For a couple of months.
Is the committee okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Solidify
so
the amount
my
of-
recommendation would be to apply immediately for an intercap loan of $500,000. And we can get a motion and get that discussion going, if there's any discussion on it.
Maybe you wanna fill everyone in on kind of your thoughts about
And
what that would cover and how we would. Pay for it and
Sure.
timing and things.
So my thought process with the $500,000 intercap loan, I know it's not enough money. But it's enough money that if we ever had a levy that we didn't pass our levy. Or our levy failed, we bring in enough funds through our permissive levies and we could make the payment. So it's not like if, we ran a levy in May with our regular school election and the levy failed. It's not like we couldn't pay that amount back. We would be comfortable to make the payment even if the levy failed. Was my thought process on there. And then with not running a levy right away, I reached out to OPI and visited with Nicole Thuat, who is the budget specialist. The building reserve is a budgeted fund. You set your budgets in, we'll have our budget at our next school board meeting and the budget is set. So even if you ran a levy in November and it passes, you can't spend any of that money because it's not in your budget. So running 2 school elections, obviously there's significant cost to that when you can't spend the money. So my thought process is we might as well wait till May and run the levy with the regular school election. And by then we would have, like they said, a solid idea of if we need way more money than that, or what kind of mills we can determine for our taxpayers. We don't obviously want to make our taxpayer, our taxes go way up with mills. The other thought process is that too, is, state is changing how they calculate your budget. And they will do that in October. So I encourage all of you, highly encourage you to attend MEA days in October over Teachers Convention. And the school, if you want to go, let Connie and I know, and that's something that we cover for our board members. I think it'd be highly valuable this year to go, because and like Pat said, they're discussing it at his, superintendent meetings. And it's become a hot topic in his world and my world. You don't know with the new calculation if you're gonna have more money or less money. Some schools are gonna see less, some schools are gonna see more. You don't know where you lie in that process. And where we also too are seeing some kind of declining enrollment and, kind of shifting around a little bit, that affects our budget as well. And the sheer cost of everything lately, as we all know, is just astronomical. And we may have to come to our voters and ask for a general fund levy too. So if we kind of wait till that time frame of the general election, we as a board could kind of weigh where we and what we need so that we're not, putting out, two different elections asking for money. So that was kind of my thought process there, is that if we got the 500,000, we know we can afford that and we can get started with some of our projects.
It gives us flexibility to get started.
Yep. And also gives us some time to come up with, grants and things like that too.
I think we could pretty safely publicly say now that our intention is to run a levy next spring that is, at least somewhere in the neighborhood of continuing what we are currently running, so that the taxpayers aren't seeing a huge, jump or change with this levy that ends this next year. This is the last year that's running, so it allows us to hopefully pass a new one that just kind of continues us at the same mills and gives us enough money to complete some of this backlog of projects that we have, so.
Because our goal is to fix our school without, putting the burden on our taxpayers too.
And also making it hard for us to pay the teachers that we need and sacrifice education at the same time, so hopefully we can find a good balance there.
The second Grant's motion.
For the $500,000 intercap loan application, right? Just to clarify.
Correct.
Any other questions or discussions about that?
I guess just to clarify, so that we'll be using for the projects that we have discussed.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I'm a little unclear on that too. Are we gonna use some of that on high school plumbing projects as well, or do we think that's all elementary?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be
Both.
both, I think, yeah, not to speak for Russ, but and for Pat, but I think our most urgent need is getting our showers and our locker rooms up to speed. And our bathrooms.
And some sewer plumbing also.
Yep, and that'll cover some of that kitchen project as well.
I think it's important to have access to it, so we don't have to keep putting Band-Aids on projects.
Correct. Yep,
Spend 50,000 here and then ultimately have to spend 500,000 to fix the problem.
correct.
Yeah.
I think that money will allow us to fix it right the first time. Versus keeping patching it up.
Any other questions for discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We also need to have a second reading of the gym use policy. We all had the chance to review that last month. With the weight room policy and gym use policy that would go along with the implementation of the new fobs. So do you have any questions about that? Now we need a motion to approve that as well.
I'll make something.
Will do. Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Lastly, we have second reading on all the handbooks, so we received all the copies of all the handbook changes last month. Actually, it was kind of in two sets,
So
so,
wasn't there's extra copies down there if
Yeah.
anyone wants one.
so this is second reading on the second set of handbooks. Which should include everything at this point. We need a motion to approve those as well. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. I managed to dump all my handbooks in a puddle outside after the meeting. last night. So they're all wet.
Well, you can get new copies.
I could, yeah. Okay,
I think we have just one resignation.
oh, hold on one second.
sorry.
Do we need to schedule any
Sorry, thank
committee?
you.
No, that's okay. Do we need to schedule any committee meetings at this time? That anyone's aware of?
You guys are gonna be good. If I have something, I'll have Callie post it out too.
Okay.
You guys have time to come in. so.
Yeah, August is kind of a tough time to get people together, so. Okay, go ahead, sorry. I apologize.
To jump in. But it's with a bit of a heavy heart. We knew it was coming one day or another, but I would ask the board to recommend the accepting of Larry McGarvey's resignation. He's gonna work for us through the summer, but he did agree that Russ, I think, twisted his arm a bit, whatever, he's gonna help us with the after-school events still, activities in the gym after school, and you've been in enough activities to the people love seeing him and he loves talking to them, so I don't think it's a hardship for him to come to the games, but he's going to, he's willing to help us out with that, but we're gonna resign from his daytime job of being a custodian here at the secondary school.
Thanks for all your years.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Larry's been an amazing asset.
And so, do we have to have a motion?
We
Don't
don't,
have a
not to
motion,
accept your
okay.
resignation.
But I would I recommend that we hire Larry's asked if he could be on our substitute teacher list, which I thought was kind of cool. And him and Brooke were staying in the hallway and I suggested he could help cover for Brooke in the Egg Center, so in the T&I room. So I would please request a recommendation to hire Larry McGarvey as a substitute teacher.
This is kind of a two-part thing, 'cause he told me, they said, well, if you can hire a substitute teacher, it wasn't gonna help me.
Oh, I thought you were
No
gonna say. he
pressure,
wasn't gonna be
folks.
signed.
No pressure, yeah.
Pressure here, folks.
Who's gonna have more fun, Larry or the kids?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So I heard a motion, but I didn't catch where it
Well,
came
I
from.
mean.
Darren,
Okay, Darren, thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Will. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
And then we have another name that's fairly familiar to us one and all, and very lovingly, I would ask for you to make a motion to accept Anna Argenbright as a part-time aide in the elementary school. Very tickled that she wants to come back and help out.
Yeah, aren't we lucky?
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And this is a District 1 vote, and I assume you'll recuse yourself. Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Future agenda items. We had a few things come up, highway and postponements and things like that, but anything else?
budget, the budget meeting.
Oh, the budget will be next month, yeah. August board meeting can be a challenge for some people to get to, but we appreciate it if you can take a second and come in and we'll tell you to debrief. Okay. Alrighty. We have a motion to adjourn,
So move.
all in favor?
Right.
Thank you very much. Thanks for calling in, Dusty.
Yeah, for the computer.
That's okay. We understand. Hope everything's okay on your end. Okay, good deal. All right.
You can sign off.
Take- let you go. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Are you gonna help? I wonder why that didn't connect that.
don't
Didn't
know.
find that even.
It wasn't finding the right camera, so you're just going off your computer camera, right?
But it was, it must have been connected to that audio.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless it